Bam, my friends, here we go again. Journey with my basketball. Here you see it, and a very beautiful thing. And today I will tell you, before we start into it in our summer journey with my basketball, why I couldn't make videos. You know there were not many videos on there the last weeks. And my equipment, because that is the important part. Which equipment do I take from camera, from basketball, bicycle, how I cut it, And that is the reason why I couldn't make videos, because I had nothing anymore. That was all damaged. And that I will explain you, but now it has changed. And now you will see the difference what I can produce now. So here we are, water weather or 30 degrees. You know it, that is beautiful. But we are still in the city, If you know my videos, there is Stonewall Court, the last edge what you will not see now. So what happened all? First of all, important, the PC where you cut. When you don't have a PC, you cannot cut videos, then you cannot film. So that is part one. Computer, it was damaged. I have a desktop PC where I cut my videos, and the first problem what went there was I had no internet connection anymore. And when I don't have internet connection, I don't have an entry to my cutting software that only functions with the internet. And I could tell you I had tried all what was possible, the how it is called, the driver, to renew everything, in that words, but nothing worked. There's a damage there. I don't know what the problem is, but the PC is now around 10 years old, 9 years old. Back then it was the high level PC, but now of course there is Windows 10 on. I cannot get updates and on and on and on. And then also there was much more a problem. I could not open files anymore. When I put in my SD card or I wanted to open files, with videos, I clicked on and boo, nothing happened. It was crushed down. And then you have really a problem, because you can do nothing. I could not even copy things from my camera to the PC, was not possible anymore. And so that was a big issue. And there we come to the cutting software, because my problem next was I had to use now a cutting software, the standard, which is 5 years old, with no special things. I have an abo, I have for 1 year I have normally success to the high premium cutting software. But when you don't have an internet connection, you cannot come in, because they write you, hey, we don't know how long your program runs, you need internet connection. Then I tried it other. I went to the modem and put in the cable, but even there it didn't function. So I was so limited, especially with the text in the thumbnails and on, because you have absolute standard things, and so I couldn't use a cutting software, and that levels down all what you have. You have no transitions, nothing almost, And so that was a big problem, and the PC doesn't run anymore, and it was so low level for nowadays that it didn't work anymore. So first thing is solved. I have a new PC, but I didn't have so much money, and when I buy something I want to level up, But now I have a very, very good solution. I have a mini PC. The good point is I have an i9, i9 Ultra Core PC, which runs very fast. All what I need to me is perfect now. Of course there is no extra no graphic chip in, but I don't use DaVinci, I don't use Adobe Premiere. I made videos about that, and so I don't need it. But I have enough power, and I have the i9 Ultra Core, which works with my program perfect. I have the internet connection, solves the next problem. I can use my cutting premium software, which I have for 1 year. Now I can use it, and so I can level up completely again. I can put in videos and out. The only thing, the graphic chip, but I could later on build an external graphic chip, but I don't need it, For my works, I don't need it. Now we have leveled up completely. That is step one, desktop PC and the cutting software. So next step, the camera, which I film now, that is an old GoPro, and it is also damaged. Problems, the echo, the batteries, they are over. I load it up. I have 5 batteries. I load them up to 100%. I put it in, and then it stands after 2 minutes, 30% only anymore. And then boom, it is over. Next battery in, over. That means when you travel to somewhere, in 5 minutes all batteries are over because they are damaged. But airplane. But of course we've used it. I filmed over 1,000 videos, with that. So then the SD card also damaged. There was standing error. You have to delete every file. That can happen all the time. Also now, it comes, bam, cuts down. You will put it in again to press the play button, so the on button, and then you have to delete all files. Otherwise, you cannot use it anymore. All is deleted. You cannot come in again. So that is the next thing. And the camera itself, the button to press is over. There is no plastic anymore. It is also damaged, And it is a GoPro 9 and I have a 10, but they were falling down a lot of times. Also the lens mod has a little bit, the glass has a little bit damage. All of what I have, only this one works now, where you don't see the scratch. Problem will get solved. I will get a new GoPro, and there starts a point, if you are filming, the people ask, wow, why a GoPro? Why not a DJI? The Osmo Action 6, or such things, or the Ace Pro 2 or Ace Pro, from Insta360. Why a GoPro? To me, or why not a high-level camera? In short terms, I tell you that. For that, what I film, a GoPro is the best option. Of course, you can also use other action cam, but to me, the GoPro fits in the best. Why? I know the problems. Problems are the overheating. That is maybe worse than on other cameras. To me, it was never that issue, no problem. The battery, the how it is called, the end duration, I don't know how long it runs, But to me, I get now a new GoPro, the newest model, the GoPro 13, not the Mission 1 with a 1 inch sensor, so it is called in English. I don't need that. And with the new GoPro, I level up completely to this one now. Better quality from the picture, of course a little bit, but it is a better quality than a GoPro 9 and 10. More solution, especially with the lens mod. Next, a little bit more dynamic range. The Echo, because they have Enduri batteries, that levels up completely in the how long it runs by cold and hot conditions. And the overheating problem is also better. So all what I have in this camera, where I was very happy, is all better. And why not the Insta360 or a DJI? In short terms, by the DJI, they have a bigger sensor than the GoPro. But when they dry, when I'm now against the sun, here is the sun, so now I'm in shadow, But I like that a GoPro doesn't brightening up my face, Others love that and like that when you can film in by low light better, because then it is not dark your face, it is completely light, But I don't like that. I like real conditions, and when I'm now in the shadow, I want to see that I'm also in the shadow. I know that, When I want the sun, I turn to the sun, then I have it better, you know what I mean? So that is what I don't like. And some other things with the stabilization, because I have a lens mod on, that means you have more field of view. By the new lens mod, there exists the 2.0, you have even more, but that I don't use, because then the picture is not natural anymore, it is so. But with the lens mod, you have the best stabilization, and I walk and drive and this and that, and there I can turn the camera 360 and the picture is always straight. And that is to me a very important thing, and also how close I can go that it is sharp, And so the GoPro to me was the best. And so this is why I will use a GoPro in short terms. But otherwise you can say, why not a big camera? Of course, a big camera, APS-C, or a smaller one, MFD, or a full sensor, in English now. You have a better quality, of course, when you zoom in, or make a slow motion thing, you will see that in the details. But one thing is, why do people watch the videos? On a smartphone, The most people watch it on a smartphone or at home on a 300-400 euro TV. and then you get not quality out, you know. When you want to film in best quality, then you also need a high quality television or a high quality tablet or whatever, you know, to see the details in correct position. And the people do in filters like for the eyes, the blue filter and this and that changes everything, you know what I mean. That is also why I don't color grade and this and that. Too much work. When you film every day, you cannot do that, you know, you don't have the time for that. Of course it would be nice, but it's too much thing. And with the bigger cameras you have one big problem, the weight. You know, how do you want with a bicycle to get all this equipment, the glasses, you know? And then I told you, when you put on a tripod with a big glass and a big camera, what do you think what the people will tell you? And with a GoPro they never complain, you know. There's always two sides. People say, hey, we don't want that you film here, go away, this and that. Oh, they were cool, what is that? Boy, show me, and then you have never time to play. And with a GoPro it's the best option. And the other thing is, one big issue is the weight. You know, when you film like myself now, you need such a wide angle that you don't see like now, that looks stupid, you know. You see a lot of people holding that with the arm, that looks really stupid. And when I do this, you don't see that I have it in my hand, you know. It looks like a drone. And that I have with the lens mod and the stabilization. And now, when you have an MFD camera like a Panasonic GH7, I had the GH5, you have a very good stabilization, because by the smaller sensors, much bigger than a GoPro, but from the 3 high-end cameras, what I call it, you know, the full sensor, the APS-C and the MFD. MFD is the smallest, the lowest quality from the picture when you want to get it out, you know, especially by photography. But you have the best stabilization, because a smaller sensor is easier to stabilize than a big sensor. But even there, when you walk, I tested it. I made videos a lot, but I didn't show it up on YouTube. But I compare it to all different cameras, to a 1-inch sensor on the left side, a GoPro, a Insta360 camera, and an MFD camera, you know. And then you have seen how much it shakes or not. Of course, you can make electronic stabilization, but then it is like a little bit wobbling, this and that. And when you hold it in the hands, that was a big part in the influencer game, how we level up to a Sony a7 III was popular, and the a7 IV, for example. And then they walking with the camera in the hand. All is wobbling, that looks shit. When I make it with the GoPro, the picture is better in overall quality, not from the picture itself, but from the stabilization. And that is why I don't use it. And with a higher, you have even more problems to stabilize it, you know. When you have it, it is good, you know, especially by low light, you will bring out much more than GoPro. And there is the point, why not the Mission 1? This has a 1-inch sensor now, but if you have a little bit smaller sensor, 1 inch, that doesn't make a big difference, you know, in my opinion. If you want to film by low light, then you have to take other camera, or you use the other action cam. There, of course, they are better. Insta and the DJI models, they are better by low light, because, but there we are by the point. Then you have an unnatural light. The people think, boy, that was very, there was like, it was not dark, it was, how it is called? Bright, or? It was bright. The brightness, no, it was not. It is because the camera has smoothed it on. And with a GoPro, I see if it's really dark or not, you know. So that is more the reality. And yeah, and with the full sensor, costs a lot of money. And there, you can of course put it into automatic. But when you make automatic filming, then I don't need such a high expensive camera. Then I want to level in the white balance for my own, the aperture, the shutter speed, and I have control things. Of course, on a GoPro I can also change a few things, but then the thing is, you know, like a DJI now, the newest model has an aperture, you know, but only so small steps. Then go with a bigger camera. I told this always, when you want to level up such small cameras, then you have also a big equipment with microphone and this and that, and then I use a big camera. But with the big cameras, I tell you, when you are staying here, then I want someone behind the camera who watches out for the conditions. For now, for example, the conditions are in 1 minute the same, in 10 minutes the same, in 20 minutes the same. But when there would be more clouds into the sun and it changes, then you have to make it on automatic, or you level it up for your own. And one part what people want is the blurry background. But I never liked that, you know. Because when I film alone, and when I normally I move a lot, you know, with a wide angle, and you see a lot of things behind me. If I don't have that and I film with a blurry background, you only see me, and that looks boring at the time when you watch it longer. When you make a film, you want that the actor is completely in front and nothing is behind. Then they blur it up. Or like by the Flooders, you know, the series, they had the house with the swimming pools. There was no real swimming pool, there were no trees, that was all in a studio, you know, outside in a studio. And then they also blur it up that it looks a bit better, you know, that you don't see that it is in a studio. But to me, for walking, people can see what happens in the background. Are there people? How does it look? That is to me important, so I don't need the big sensor, because with a bigger sensor, and when you can go down with the aperture, you know, to a 1 point something, you get this. You know, that is difficult with such cameras. And I don't like, for example, by the DJI, I see the softness when they, like now I'm against the sun, and they make my face very bright now, you know. But then it also looks so softening, and that I don't like, you know. So GoPro to me is the best option. And also, for example, when they ask, yeah, but a microphone, the sound on the GoPro itself is to me better than from the other cameras. But on the DJI you have a lavalier microphone, but I can also make it on a GoPro. But I'm not a fan of that. For example, when I play basketball and the camera is staying, I don't know, 10 meters away, then I want the sound like it really sounds. Because if I have a lavalier microphone on, then you hear the sound from me, and that looks a little bit strange when people see he's 10 meters away, but the sound is completely from where he is standing. You know what I mean? So to me, the GoPro is the perfect thing, and that I will get now, a GoPro 13 with the Enduro Echoes, a few, and then all problems are solved. So that was part 2, the cameras. Part 3, next thing, equipment, tripod. Mine is damaged, it falls apart, completely over. I will get a new one. There also will I get a big one. That would change a bit, because with this small one what I have, I can level up to this height. Perfect, because I can also film it like this now. When you have an external tripod, there exists a carbon tripod. This is a little bit smaller than my real tripod, and it is lighter. And when you have it in a backpack and you drive a lot, it is almost impossible. It's heavy, you know. But a carbon tripod is better, and there you could make it. But if this will be, I don't know. But tripod also solved. Next thing, shoes, you know. Basketball shoes, skateboard shoes. Mine were all damaged. The thing, and you see, there is no profile anymore. It is all used up. You see that? Wait, I have to go there, and you see that? That is used up, you know. So, you see, bam, used up. When you walk not straight, you walk this, bam, bam, bam. Or it is completely out. This is broken out on the basketball shoes, by every shoe. Problem solved. I have new skateboard shoes, of course DC shoes, because I love to play basketball in DC shoes, but I will get basketball shoes and I will get another shoes. So I have all shoes again. So next problem solved. Then backpack. There I tell you something. The backpack will be not a big issue this time, because I will have no backpack. It's my thing. And there we come to the last point, you know, and that is the bicycle. Because I have to come to the basketball courts, you know. And if you don't know it, my journey with my basketball, this is my new basketball, and I will play this ball on all courts, you know, and see what will happen. But again, I will have, we have to make it in the shadow because it is so hot, because they can explode, you know. You see that? That is now very I do it in the shadow now. It is too much air then in, you know. So, and the thing is, the bicycle. There we come now to the last part. I have right now, which I could rent, which I use for work, an e-bike. And if you know me from my last years, then you know I was never a fan of an e-bike, you know. And for one reason, because I always said you don't get the same result when I drive with an e-bike than with a normal bike, you know. But I tell you now something, I will get a new e-bike. I have this now, you know, but this is the lowest standard what you can have. And why is this important now? Because I want to enjoy to come to the courts. I have over 100 street ball courts here, around 130, 40 around, which I know, you know. Some are playable, some not, but there are over 100 playable. there I have to come to with the bicycle journey with my basketball. But this time I will not, like last year I have filmed all the routes, you know. This time I will not film the routes. I will only film when I'm at the basketball court, that people see, wow, that court looks great. Oh, this is not a great court. Because last year people haven't watched because it was too much journey. This time only basketball. And so we will go on from court to court to court, you know. But also I will have new balls. That will be an extra thing. And the bicycle, very important now. Why? This is an e-bike. It can fall down, nothing gets damaged, you know. That is good. But the problem is the motor. You can have one in here, for example, and one in here. We have it in here. Normally they have it in there. When you climb up, it is better to have it in there for climbings. I have it in there, but this is, I think, a 45 Newton meter motor, so that is the lowest of the lowest. And when I drive a little bit upwards, you have no power, you know. And that is one thing. The next thing is here, you don't have a vibration, you know. You can make a vibration in there, and that would make a huge difference. You don't have it here. So with that bike, every little thing, bam, 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 always bam, 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 always boom into the back, into the neck, boom, boom, boom. That is absolutely not good, you know. And the battery is only 500, where does it stand now? It is on the downside, 500 something, and that is too less, you know. And I will tell you now, I will fix the problem into a new e-bike. And why an e-bike? I will tell you that. Two reasons. One is a big difference to me now. I still have the same opinion like the last years, but I will now use an e-bike. And why? One thing is the position. I tell you, you know how much difference that makes when you sit on there straight? You know what I mean? When the back is straight, and with a mountain bike you are this, you know, bam. And you have to make this, you know, when you drive. And that position, I tell you, that is really a bad position. When you drive it every day, your body comes into it. But I have used it now. My old mountain bike, it is damaged. The wheels are out, the profile is away, and the brakes and this and that. But I had so back pain then for 2 days, you know. And with that position, it is so relaxing to drive. When you are sitting straight on, I can watch to the things, enjoy that. And that is so a huge difference to me. Why I say I want a comfortable bike with a nice position to enjoy my journey. And then I'm much more relaxed on the basketball court. Point two is, I have then here something to put on, and then I don't need a backpack, because a backpack with a basketball in, with bottles in, with water and things to drink when it is hot, a tripod, a camera, the batteries, a t-shirt, and on and on and on. That is really, you know, you drive this, bam, it's heavy, it's heavy, it's heavy. And when you come to the basketball court, which is my goal, to play street ball, to enjoy the street ball, then I cannot do much. As you have seen last year, I can play 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes when I'm far away, and then I have to drive home. And I was driving in the middle of the night because I had to drive 12 hours, 13 hours, you know. And then I was over. I tell you, if you know my stories, I was falling onto the floor. I thinking I was passing out. I had to vomit. Can you imagine that? And that is one thing. And with the new bike, I tell you, I have much longer battery than this, and I will choose a bike with mountain bike things, because then I can drive up the mountains, but also on the floor, because I have a motor. Then I, you know, with that profile would be better to drive on straight things than with a mountain bike profile. And important, this has to be in there. I tell you, because now, if you don't know it, I drive around 40 hours, sometimes more, to 50 hours every week on the e-bike, you know. So I drive I have driven every single day in a month, 30 days in a row, every day, you know. I was driving 40 days, you know, around every day. And so I can tell it what works and what not, you know, and what is the difference. Because last year I drove 35 hours on a mountain bike, the hardest routes, you know. And there, the difference is, if you want to keep that level up like last year, you have to do it every time. every time 35 minutes, drive every week to the mountain, to the mountain, to the mountain up, otherwise you will lose that. And also listen now, with an e-bike you can make it very hard. The difference, but I will tell you the difference. First, the battery, important that it is here. Why? Because when rain comes you can protect it, but the rain destroys the electronic, is my opinion. This is now the 5th bike in 8 months what I had, because all got damaged with the brakes, with the electronic, and that is when the rain comes. And when the battery is in there, that makes a difference. That is important. Then here to have a vibration, and here to have a vibration, because then you fix a lot of problems. And a better motor. When you have 65 Newton meters, that is around like if you have here 80-90 Newton meters. And the good thing is, normally people hate the back motors. Why? Because they don't have that much power when you drive upwards, but they are very from the sound very low. The other ones here, zzz, you know, and this you don't hear. And with 65 Newton meter, peak 600, 700. Ta-da! Now we changed the location. Now I'm in the shadow, you know. From there we moved to there in the shadow, because the camera was overheating and here in the shadow is better. And I tell you, with the bicycle, the difference when you have no backpack, you know, I can relax to the basketball court. And then the extra option what you have, that you have a battery to drive back home, you know. Of course you can say, yeah, don't you have the power to come back? But what I did 12 hours a day bicycling on the limit, you know, that is not healthy, that is not good, that is not fine. I cannot enjoy the street ball, and that makes it better. And so I will have the best things together to do that, you know. And when you ask me now, yeah, but then you don't stay fit, I will tell you something now. My opinion is you can also get very fit with an e-bike. It is not the same like with a normal bike, but there also, that what I did, for example, with an old mountain bike, a heavier one, with used up wheels, you cannot compare my thing, what I did with the long routes. If other person would have a better e-bike, a lighter e-bike, you know, or a race bike, then you have it so much easier. You cannot compare that. And then also, what thing do you have on there, you know? A light one or not, you know? A race cycler will have not that light one, and a mountain bike have a much lighter one than I had. So even if you drive the same route, you cannot compare it. And the other thing is, who cares? People will not congratulate me or other persons when they have achieved the mountain, this and that, what we did, you know, or other people do. It stays by you, you know. And when I can do it, this and this, why should I make it the next year again and again? I have nothing for that, you know. I want to play street ball, and then I can use the bike, but I can also drive up a mountain, and there it comes. You can make it difficult, of course. But as I told you, when you want to stay that fit, you have to make those 35 hours with the normal bike every week. If you don't do it, you will fall down, and that you cannot do, you know. Or your only sport is bicycling, then do it, you know. And so with an e-bike you have two options. You have the motor, or you can drive without the motor. But there starts a problem, my opinion, and I make it more than most other people. When I drive 40 to 50 hours e-bike every week, every single day, every day in a month, you know. And there the point is, you have it very easy, you have it middle, or you have it very hard, you know. Is my opinion with an e-bike, because you don't have too much things there, from light to this and that, you know. And with the motor and with a normal bike, you have it very, very light, you have it light, or very light, you have it light, you have it a bit light, you have it middle, you have it a bit harder, you have it hard, you have it very hard, and you have it very, very hard, you know. So there are a lot more options. So when I drive up, I drove Höttinger Hill with such a bike, you know, and that was brutal. The first part, easy, and the steepest, because the motor was not there anymore, 25 kilo, and then only fight, you know, and then it is brutal hard, you know, brutal hard. And so you can make it hard, but the problem by most people is they drive relaxed, they don't want to get sweating. But of course I can make it tough with this, and also get a fit part, but on the other way, you know, you have to make this, because with a light bike you're making it not that fast, you know, and here with the motor faster, this and that. But of course you can get fit, and when you drive this bike without a motor, you know how tough this is. This is like if I drove with my mountain bike, when I put the kettlebell in, you know, I put a kettlebell with 12 kilo in, and I drove hours for hours with that, and that is tough, you know, and that feels the same with such a thing. And a good thing is I have two options by the e-bike. Here I have phantom pedaling. That means I only have to make it this. If I make it fast or not, in the lightest, in the hardest, I only have to make the movement with no energy, because there is no resistance. And then you have the 25 km/h, and with my e-bike then I have to click, and then I have the Trittfrequenz, the Drehmoment sensor, and then how much power you put in, the more power the motor gives. That is what the normal bikes have, what you may know, and so I can switch to that. And I tell you, to me, when I am hours and hours away, and then I have the opportunity, when wind is against me, to drive relaxed home, that is a pleasure, I tell you that. And then the bottles in the back, I can play more street ball, enjoy the street ball more, to can make better videos. To me, that is the much better option. And to sit in a straight position, relax. And I can also make it up and make an extra tour to the mountain. But of course, it will not feel the same as with an original mountain bike. But still, I can make it very, very tough. But in another way tough, you know what I mean? That is the other, much more weight. Very hard, lighter, very hard, lighter. And with the mountain bike, I can make the whole route hard, 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 hard. And here, it is light, hard, light, very hard. You know, depends how steep. But still, you can get very fit with that, and to me that is absolute pleasure, you know. And then also what I've forgotten, I have the music back, because with internet I have the music back to cut the videos, and yeah, that is absolutely the perfect choice to do it to me, you know. And I don't run into problems that I say, boah, I have to drive 4 hours. You see, the last mountain, not this mountain, not this mountain, there is between, you will not see it on the GoPro, over those. And from there I drove in complete darkness here, because I was 12-13 hours on the way, you know. And with an e-bike I will be 3-4 hours quicker, you know. And I have more time, more relaxed in the city. I can play more street ball, I can film more, I can play better, because when I know I have the option to drive back with motor, to do nothing almost, yeah, then I can play more. But when I didn't have the option, and I know I have to drive back 6 hours, you know, without a break, then you only play a little bit, not much jumping, not much running, and so I can enjoy it more. So that is the thing what we have then. New desktop PC, new shoes, new basketballs, new bicycle, cutting software works, the music software works, you know, and new camera, you know. So we have all together now. I can eat now because I can put it in, and that is the thing what I wanted to tell you, and that will be absolutely a great thing, you know. And I tell you, the e-bike makes so much fun. That makes so much fun, you know. That is really absolutely fantastic, you know. So my opinion is still the same. If you want to drive only bicycle, then use a real bicycle, because here it feels different. But you can get fit really with that, but I would say 99% what I see, they fail because they make it too easy. Yeah, I drove up to the mountain, but yeah, it was a bit sweating. And they never fighting, you know. But you can fight with that also. I have done it, you know. I drove a lot of things, you know. I was outside also with that bike, so I can tell you the experience, because I have it now, you know. I drove the steepest parts with that, what is possible and how it feels. And so yeah, when you drive 40 hours with a normal bike and 50 hours with an e-bike every day, then you know the difference, you know. Yeah, and that is the thing. So we can enjoy it really, and that will be absolutely cool, you know. I guarantee you that. Then you can say, yeah, a drone would be a good thing, you know, to fly up. But I tell you that it is almost nowhere allowed. you know. In the city it's not allowed, and then you have always to watch out, then you cannot drive too far up, you know. And my concerns are always when they don't function anymore, especially by those electricity towers, and then boom, it falls down, something happens, you know, into a street where cars are, and that I don't want. And outside is also the planes, there it is not allowed, and this only a height, and so from the, or you make it illegally, you know, but now there's all tracked. So it would be cool if it would be allowed, if I could do it right here and do what I want, but it's not that easy, you know. And so, and also when you make it all the time, it doesn't look that spectacular for one time. But also, you know, I know courts, for example, by Stonewall Court, in there it would look spectacular. When you are on other courts, because there you will not see that much, that looks not spectacular. And when you see it all the time, it is not good anymore. And then you can say, of course, an Insta360 cam, to me the better option. You have a long stick in there, which is very light because it is carbon. It is 3 meters long. It helps you when the basketball goes away, you can fish it out. You know that. And the 360 cam, when you go up, now with the better quality, and like mine, I have the X2 version, you know, it's very old now from the quality. But with the newer ones, you have it absolutely great. There also exists the 1 inch, but that is too heavy. You cannot use it with the long stick. But with the X4, the X4 Insta360, that is a great option, because then you can also make like a drone thing. But there exists other things now. You can say a gimbal. Go away with a gimbal when you film your own. A gimbal to me is, a gimbal means, you know, when I have a GoPro, I don't need a gimbal. Maybe it is a bit smoother, but you need battery. It has to be loaded up. It weighs in a lot. I had it for the GoPro, a gimbal. I had it for the big cameras. To me, not an option, you know. But there exists now robots, you know, robots which drive with wheels, and they can drag you and drive there. They are now famous by skateboarders, and when they fall down, they can jump up on stairs and film you. That is a great option. That is a very cool thing, you know, that you can use by streetball also, in my opinion, but the weight, you know, and the cost. But that is to me the most best option to do it, you know. And yeah, and then you have a gimbal like on a DJI which films you, you know. But there I tell you, when you track yourself, that looks robotic. Boom, 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 boom. For a few seconds or in one video, good, but by more videos, that looks really robotic. It's not like smooth like like people do, because you're always in the middle of the thing. Boom, boom, boom. You have to see that this doesn't work that well, you know. And so, yeah, and with the tripod, when you have a bigger one, you know, then you have another perspective, you see out of the court then, you know. That is an option which I will think, the carbon tripod. And when I have here a backpack, if I have this in or not, I think that will work, you know. And yeah, so, and then I have all in what I need. Like last year and the year before, I had nothing to eat, nothing to drink almost. And here I have the bottles in. They are not that hot, you know, and then you can drink whenever you want. But because I was going out of water those long distances, and that is the reason why I was falling down from the bicycle, you know. And so, yeah, those are the things. My setup, which is best to me with my experience. I can produce good videos again, because when you have the software, you know, that is the thing. When you have really software to work with, how it is called, now in English, the transitions, you know, the Übergänge, the transitions. When you can build extra things in, that makes a huge difference. The text, you know, when you have a standard text that looks like 20 years ago. So the camera was overheating again. But you know, these are the things, and when you know you can do much more and you don't have the equipment, that is so stupid. When you have the equipment, then it is all good, you know. And that will be absolutely cool with my ball. You know, only street ball, street ball, street ball, street ball. That is the thing. Street ball, street ball, street ball. On all courts where you only have the court where people say, wow, that court was cool. Wow, we have so much services, you know, over 12 services where I play. And that is cool. And people only see from the first second, wow, that is the court. Because last year I wanted to have it on film, the long tours, that you see how far this is. But most people are not interested in that, and then they don't watch the court, and then now they will see, wow, that court, wow, what is that, completely other, and that vibe, you know. And that is the thing, and I can enjoy the street ball, and I can also collect balls, not only court with that ball, how this gets roughed up. I will have new balls, but that is then not the journey with my basketball, then it is the format new basketball, you know. And so I have both, and I can enjoy that. And then I can sit relaxed there. It doesn't matter if I am so far away. I know courts which are more far away than the other ones. Not more far away, but in that direction. Not this, on therein, you know. And when you then have the motor and you know, hey, I can come back. Not in darkness, when the sun is shining. I can go relaxed home back. I come home back, you know, because last year I was thinking I cannot come back. I was so finished. And so that will be absolutely amazing. I can sit relaxed on the far outside courts like now and know, wow, my muscles, if they are over or not, I will come back, you know. I can drive with the motor, without a motor, this and that, you know. And maybe a second battery that I can drive 200 kilometers, you know, if it is needed. And sit relaxed on a bicycle, not with the leg watching backpack, you know. That will be cool, you know. Street ball, one video after another. Street ball, street ball, street ball. I will have in YouTube more street ball videos than anyone else in the world. I will tell you that. Oh. And that, I thought from the tree will fall something down. That will happen, you know. So from that, I say goodbye. We see us by street ball. That was now the equipment intro. And then we started. I have started it already. I have 3 courts already made with the old equipment, and then we start with the new equipment. Let's do it.